Hey guys, welcome to another video. Today's title is how to get your CDL step by step. If you want to get your CDL but don't know where to start, this is exactly what you need to do step by step. We're going to go over these steps in detail so you know how to get your CDL. A lot of people overcomplicate this process, but getting your CDL is actually very straightforward if you follow the right steps. In this video, I'm going to break it down so you know exactly what to do from start to finish. So the first step, you want to make sure you meet the basic requirements. You typically need to be at least 18 years old, 21 for interstate driving. That's where you're going to be driving across state lines to other states in the United States. You need to have a valid regular driver's license and have a clean driving record. Now, your record is really important because when I was a teenager, I had an accident. I remember it was in a parking lot, a small accident. But when I went to get my CDL, I believe I was 21 or 22, I was not able to get a job. All of the companies weren't taking me. The only one who gave me a chance was Schneider National because of that accident. And they put me through a lot of training, but at least they were able to take me. So don't be afraid. Oh, I got this accident. I have this on my record. You could try. Don't give up. Someone's gonna take you eventually. You'll get a job once you pass the school. It might not be the job you want, but it'll be good. I got lucky. I got a job I wanted. I was really happy with Schneider National. For step two, you have to pass a DOT physical. There's a medical exam to make sure you're fit to drive a commercial vehicle. They'll check your vision, your hearing, your blood pressure, and your overall health. If you pass, you'll receive a medical certificate. So basically, there are doctors, regular doctors. They get an extra license or endorsement, just like we do with our CDLs, and it's to do these DOT certificates. They do these health physicals on drivers and new drivers to see if they meet the standards to drive a truck and get your CDL. So early on, when you get a trucking school, they're gonna send you for this for physical, and you're gonna do your drug test. Most schools do it that way, and because that way they'll know early on if you're gonna have issues getting your CDL. Step three is to get your permit. Get your commercial driver's learner's permit, also known as a CLP. This means studying the CDL manual, taking the written test. You'll be tested on things like general knowledge, air brakes, and combination vehicles. The community that I created on school.com, that's in the link below of this video, I teach on there the general knowledge. There's guidance, there's like a whole book I made, and videos that show you your general knowledge, your air brakes, combination vehicles, and you also get to take all the practice exams. You got over 1,500 just for the general knowledge. When you take the practice exam on there, it pulls from all those questions. Every time you get to choose if you want a 15, 25, or the 50 question test, and it's going to pull from there, and it's going to tell you when you're ready to actually take the actual test. Step four on my list is CDL training. Go through CDL training. This can be a trucking school, company sponsored training, or learning with a qualified driver. Here's what you'll learn: pre trip inspection, banking maneuvers, and driving skills. Okay, so on that list, the first one is the company sponsored training. Some companies like Coca-Cola and McLean, I know for sure in Texas, that they have programs, and Amazon, I remember hearing they had a program where if you work for them, they have CDL trainers on the site that train you with their truck so you can become a CDL driver. There's also company sponsored training, the learning with a qualified driver. Learning with a qualified driver is hard. That's basically you know somebody that drives a truck and has their own truck who has the time to train you and also be able to help you do all these testing. But that's really hard to do. But some people do it. The number one way people get their license is through a trucking school. Now, the reason I set up this community is to help you. You could also save money because you could join the community and you could go to the trucking school already with your CDL permit. Because you don't want to go to a school, for example, some schools, the package gives you like 160 hours. You don't want to go to a school spending all that time, all these weeks just to get your permit when you could get it outside of the school before you go, because you're going to spend thousands of dollars at that trucking school. Why waste it on the general knowledge, which you could do on your own or using the community I created to pass your test? And then when you go to the school, you could use all that time to focus on actual driving the truck and learning how to, other things for driving, hands-on training, instead of learning how to pass a written test that you could do here. Okay, step 5 is to pass the skills test. Take and pass your CDL skills test. This usually includes 3 parts. You got your pre-trip inspection, basic vehicle control, including backing, and the road test. So the skills is really important. This is where most people fail, especially the pre-trip. It's important that you don't memorize. You have to understand. Because when I took my pre-trip inspection, I remember I got 2 points off. I was lucky it was only 2 points because I forgot. I froze, and I did understand everything. 2 points is not bad, but you shouldn't get anything off. You should be able to know everything. And it was a question. They took me to the side of the truck between the tractor and the trailer, and they asked me, "Tell me everything you know about this area. Tell me everything you know." So I started going down the list, and he's like, "Are you sure? Keep going. Something else. You're missing something." And I couldn't. I froze. I couldn't figure it out. And what it was the air hoses and the electrical line that go between the truck and the trailer had to be within 6 to 12 inches above the catwalk. Something so simple, but I couldn't remember that at the moment. So that's why it's really important that you study, 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 and understand. Do not memorize. The goal is to understand the material. Now, step 6 on my list is getting hired. Once you pass, you can start applying for jobs. Some companies may offer paid training, tuition reimbursement, and sign-on bonuses. Now, paid training, and tuition reimbursement, they give you the money back. Some of them pay the school in advance. Some companies have connections with schools, and they'll send you there, and you don't got to pay nothing. Some companies, like I did with Schneider National, they took me. I paid the school cash, and I took them the receipts, and they started giving me $150 a paycheck until that was paid off, the full amount of the school. And then sign-on bonuses. A lot of companies offer sign-on bonuses. Mostly for new drivers, you won't get one. It's rare for a new driver straight out of school to get a sign-on bonus. You got to have experience to get the sign-on bonus. And make sure you ask the fine print of the sign-on bonuses, because a lot of them have requirements or restrictions on how to get that sign-on bonus. But here's what most people don't tell you. Passing the test is just the beginning. You need to actually understand what you're doing out there on the road. That's why it's important to learn the right way. Remember, I'm teaching in my communities safety first. Do not memorize, you have to understand. When I was a driver trainer for 5 years, I always told people that you need to understand the concept. Do you understand this? Do you have any questions? No question is a stupid question. I always told them that. Ask me anything you want. If I don't know the answer, I'm going to find it for you. But I want to give you the right answer because I want to make sure you understand everything, not to memorize. It's very important that you learn everything the right way. Because when I went to trucking school, I learned a lot. I thought it was a really good trucking school. And I got trucking training, CDL training from the Schneider National. But when you go on the road, you're going to feel like all that training still didn't prepare you. That's at least what I felt. I was overwhelmed. You out there on your own. Schneider did their best. They teach you trip planning. They send you with a trainer for 2 weeks. And I believe all that was still not enough. Even though it was really good training. I learned a lot, but that's why it's important that you understand. So that when you get into the sticky situations or you get lost or something happens, you're able to use all the knowledge you get starting from my videos and my community training, and you go to the trucking school and the trucking company, you put all that knowledge together and you'll be able to get yourself out of those sticky situations or bad situations that you may get into while driving the truck. Now, before we wrap this up, I want to show you something real. We're going to watch some videos that I found on YouTube. It's through Mega Driving School. I'm gonna get a comment on them to see if the driver was correct or the vehicle that hit them was correct or what happened. These are real world situations that happen out on the road. As you watch these, pay attention to things like driver awareness, speed and following distance, and decision making in real time. So before we watch, I want you guys to remember this, if you haven't heard it already. But you, as a CDL driver, are considered the professional driver. You are responsible for what happens on that road. Even if the driver hits your truck, you are still going to be questioned and treated like it's your fault. So you got to have a lot of evidence to show that the other person was at fault if they were. As a professional driver, you go through all this training. So the DOT, when you have that accident, the DOT officer is going to show up and they know that you're trained. They're going to check your license, your background. They can see everything. They're going to investigate that whole accident. And they're going to know what training you received. You got to be able, you got to have awareness. You got to check your mirrors every 6 to 7 seconds. You got to be good at predicting other drivers, and they're going to see how you handle that situation. So let's take a look at some of these videos that we get a comment on. We're just going to do 3 or 4 of them real quick. Okay, so this video, you clearly saw that the red vehicle came from the right and hit the semi truck. I looked at this one multiple times, and yeah, there's not really much the semi truck could have done to prevent this, because he was in the right lane. He had his signals on, which I assume because you can't see them. But for sure, you could see the red vehicle did not have the Charger, did not have his signal on. He just like went in front of it, assuming the truck was going to go in the other lane, or I don't know what was going through his head. But this one for sure is the four-wheeler vehicle's fault for this accident. Okay, now this accident, the white Honda came out. He put his turn signal on. In this one, if a DOT officer sees this, he's going to say it's a truck driver's fault. Why? Because the left lane, if you look at the gentleman's, the truck's mirrors, you could see he had room to move over. He could have switched lanes. But yes, the driver should have waited before merging. He merged in front of the truck and the truck hit him. He also did not try to hit his brakes. I don't see him hitting the brakes hard or anything. He might have hit them, but it wasn't hard enough. He has a power to stop the truck, or slow it down and move into the left lane. Now, this is the way, even though some of you guys might not agree with me. I know it's going to be in the comments, but that's just the way DOT is going to see it when they see this accident. It's going to be blamed on the truck driver. Why couldn't you do more to prevent this accident? Okay, this one here. Obviously, it's the car's fault. He's supposed to go in the right lane when he's turning. I believe the truck driver did the best he could. In this situation, always remember, when I got trained, I still use this thing. Even I drive my car now, always, when you're driving, always have your foot ready over the brake when you're going past an intersection. So this one here, it is the car's, I believe it's the car's fault. And the truck driver, they weren't going fast. That's something you got to be thankful for. They weren't going like super fast, so it wasn't that big of an accident. But yeah, this one is the four-wheeler's fault, because he made the right turn. They both could have done this good. The truck driver was correct, but he went too much in the left lane. He was supposed to go in the right lane when you make a right turn.
Damn, man. Lord of mercy, you see the semi.
Okay, now that accident in this construction zone is 100% the truck driver's fault. You could tell because when he was getting close to the merge, he sped up to not let the car through. He knew that car was going to do that. As a professional driver, you got to predict these things. And you could tell he knew because instead of letting the car go, he's hit the gas. He to decrease the following distance. When you're in a construction zone, especially if you know there's a merging zone, common sense tells us these four wheelers are not going to stop for you. You have to hit the brakes. You have to slow down. You have to increase the following distance. This truck driver failed to do that in this video. So the truck driver is 100% at fault for this incident that happened in this construction zone. So when the DOT sees this dash cam and the truck driver tries to fight it, they're gonna blame him because he had all the training. You're gonna see in the training you take for your general knowledge, it's in there. There's training for all of this. Like it's sad to watch because this driver was trained. He's obviously driving a truck unless they check and he didn't take the correct classes and doesn't have a CDL. But if you have a CDL, you're supposed to slow down. I know it's irritating. You want to do what this guy did, but you can't. You got to be professional. You are the future. You are a professional driver. You're supposed to slow down, let the butthole of this other car driver who just wants to get in front of the truck because it's big and slow, get in front of you. You just got to do it. So he probably lost his license, lost his job, got points on his license. Something had to happen here because this is not the way you drive a commercial vehicle. Now, the reason I'm showing you this is because getting your CDL isn't just about passing a test. These are the kinds of situations you can run into as a driver. And understanding what went wrong and how to avoid it is what will actually keep you safe out there. So you got to remember what went wrong in these videos. I sided with the truck driver in some of them, but you saw some of them. It's one of them was actually the truck driver. You know, he could have prevented that accident. I also want to give a quick reminder for those who saw the last two videos of the week that I did. We're doing a giveaway this week. We're giving away products you can actually use once you get out on the road as a truck driver. To enter, all you have to do is leave a comment on any of the three videos we're releasing this week. We'll be announcing the winner in a video next week. Just make sure you're subscribed and that you live in the United States to participate. So everyone is welcome to subscribe, but to get the shipping for the products I'm going to be giving away, it's not going to be really expensive stuff. It's going to be items under $100 that we could get at truck stops that you guys could use when you get out on the road on your own. I'm going to be making its own video. It's going to be a short video of the giveaway when it happens sometime next week. But for now, please, thank you. I want to thank you for subscribing already. And I also want to get you to leave these comments so you could be entered to win the items we're going to be giving out every week for participating and helping this channel grow. And if you want help with all of this, I build a full training community that includes practice tests, step-by-step lessons, pre-trip breakdowns, and real-world driving tips. So you're not guessing. Links are in the description. Comment below what step are you currently on right now. If you're getting your CDL, if you're an experienced driver, just let me know in the comments. All right, guys, ladies and gentlemen, I'll see you in the next video where we start breaking down the CDL test so you can pass on your first try.